like Darwin, my parents and my grandparents, I was very fortunate to grow up in an extended family. I only had one sibling, and so it was my aunts, uncles, grandparents. They were just one big extended family, and they passed on so much to me in terms of what was important about life. And from that, kind of started my own political and personal philosophy, which is you acknowledge your mistakes, you take responsibility for things that you caused, you clean up your messes, you pay your bills on time, and you pay for what you can afford. And I've always tried to live my life that way, to the point where we did take a flyer on running a small business. As Roy says, it's difficult to have a small business. We had a bookstore in Reed City, and the joke was when we closed the bookstore, the people in Reed City really didn't want to read. Well, that wasn't it. We started getting hit with some bad times in the economy, and people didn't want to pay full price for a book they could get from Walmart for substantially less. So we've dealt with that. For me, though, the most important thing is all the time that I've spent with kids. I started out my career not as a teacher, but as a child care worker in a state psychiatric hospital. I worked with kids who were mentally ill, mentally retarded, to use the old description, and drug abused. We had everything in the hospital. And that's where I saw the power of education. And even today, just running into my students, they're not surprised that I'm doing this. They knew long before I knew that I was going to do this. They said, we're not surprised, but how they remember me as someone who's generous, someone who made opportunities for them, someone who was willing to sit down and take the time, however long was needed, to help them understand something. And that's the way I am today. And it's large part because of hundreds of kids that I have had the pleasure and privilege of knowing in Reed City.